Hello, hi, it's Liz here, and today I'm going to make a journal from a paper bag. I have made journals from paper bags before, but I haven't covered them in fabric before, so I think that's going to be the plan with this one. So I think before we do anything, we'll just take this other handle off. It's just on with this piece of paper, I think. There we are. So that's the two handles off. I'm just going to leave that bottom like that. Yeah. So we don't need that for the moment, or if at all. And yeah, so it's going to be what I would say is maybe a true junk journal. I know they're all junk journals. We make handmade journals, junk journals out of anything and everything, including like stash that we've got. But I thought I would try and just use kind of junky things for this one. So I have this, which is from this old pillowcase. I have taken a piece from the pillowcase. Don't need that anymore. And I just tore it to roughly about the size of that opened up. It's just going to have the one signature, so I haven't given it a spine. And I'm just going to cover it like that, I think, and then we'll stitch round. I've got layers. I have this, which is just a piece of, it looks like tie-dyed or something. I came across it, I think it was in a little basket in the charity shop, in the thrift shop. So we'll layer that up on top, I think, once that's on. And I also have an old tea towel, dishcloth type thing, and I thought that might be quite nice. And I have hubby's old shirt, and it was quite funny because so this is the shirt. It was quite funny there a wee while ago. I was prepping this and he popped his head in. He's like, "What are you up to?" I says, "I'm prepping for my video." And he saw the shirt and he's like, "Oh, I remember that was one of my favourites." That was one of his favourites. So it'll be, and this is quite good because I think it's got a little pocket and the pocket's actually split. So I would be able to keep like a pen or a pencil in there, in that little split bit, and then we'll be able to keep something in there. That's quite cool. So yes, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's do, so I've shown you where all my junky bits have come from, and I think that's what I'm going to stick with. But let's cover this. Now I'm going to just glue it down for now, just roughly, and then I'm going to take it to the sewing machine. Yeah, I'm not going to use that, but I'm just still going to just leave it on. Wonder if we should glue it down. Let's glue it down, and let's just put some glue. This is going to be really, I want it to look really rough and ready, and all kind of all the edges kind of all frayed, and do you know what I mean? That's the way, that's the kind of look that I'm going for. I want it to look like that. Right, and just, let's just put a little bit of glue there and across the bottom here. So when I stitch it, I'm going to just stitch each layer. Usually I build up the layers. How can I describe this? Build up the layers and then just do one row of stitching so that it just looks nice and neat. Well, neat is not the look I'm going for here. I know I could just cut these corners off, but it's just roughly just now. The inside is going to be covered in something anyway. I don't quite know what the inside is going to be covered with yet. I haven't thought of that. I am just doing the outside just now, one step at a time. We'll just turn that and get that up, and then we'll just turn that in. There. So I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to sew round roughly, just so that that first layer is held in place before we start. And then I'll take it to the sewing machine and we'll get that layer on. Yeah. And we'll put something in the inside that's going to maybe give us a little fringe round that. I wonder if I've got another piece of that. I don't think so. Something with a fringe so that, yeah. Anyway, don't think about the inside just now. We'll go to the machine and we will stitch round this edge first. Okay, that's been stitched round. Just roughly round the outside there. Yeah, okay with that so far. So far so good. And so the next piece was going to be this. And I think we'll just put that about there. And then this, we might cut this down. Yeah, we'll need to cut this down a bit. I don't want a huge big bit of that. Now, if I stitch, now we need to think about the order of this. So if I stitch that on just now, if I do everything on the outside, then I'll want to stitch something on the inside and it'll go over. And I don't mind so much with this that it's a bit messy, but I don't want it to be too random. So I'm going to think about the inside next because the stitches will come through. And I do have another piece of this dishcloth that I think just fits and no more, giving me a wee rough edge, I think. Yeah, I think we'll put that on the inside next. I'm not going to think about pockets or anything at the moment because I can just add pockets as and when. Right, just roughly get this a little bit of something just to keep it in place while I'm sewing. Just put this want it to just go over the edge a little bit. Okay. I might put something else along the edge anyway, but for the moment, that gives me a little bit of threads everywhere because I've been tearing the fabric. Right, so stitch round that and then I'll be back. That's layer 2 done. That's the inside, and it just comes over a little bit at the front there and also a little bit at the back. So let's continue with the front. So this piece, about there. Yeah, about there. Right, now I wonder if we should stitch that just now and then the final piece, or we could stitch that all at once. We could just give it the one stitch. If the one stitch through would hold that on to, yeah. Now I'm thinking when I go to sew, well that's quite an open weave, right enough. When I go to sew my signatures in, it's not too thick. I'm thinking, will I put this on after sewing the signature in? Or, oops, how thick is that going to be? Oh, I think I'll manage to sew that in through that thickness. Fingers crossed. I think I'll tidy this up a wee bit. This fabric won't tear. Because I already tried it. And you just get a big knot. But the good thing about it is you get a nice fringe without too much effort. Right. We want to trim it down at the back as well. That's a nice piece. That can do a nice pocket on the inside, I think, once we get to that. Right, so I think I'm going to sew that on. I don't think it's got a back and a front. Play around with this all day. It's this bend here I'm trying to avoid. I don't want that bumfle, because when I was sewing this, it actually, because it's quite an open weave, it stretches, and I had a little bit of a bumfle there. So I don't really want a bumfle. Although, if a bumfle happens, it happens. Right, I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm going to just get this on. And I'm just going to stitch it the once. I'm going to stitch round here, and that will keep that middle piece in place without doing another layer. Or do I want another layer of stitches? Might be quite nice. Trying to imagine what another layer of stitching would be like. Well, I suppose we could always go back and do it if I decide once this middle bit's stitched, we can go back and decide whether we want a stitch just for a look rather than practical. That would be the thing. I'm going to leave these black threads. I quite like the black threads. Right, I'm going to the machine. Right. It really does look quite random and junky, doesn't it? I think I'm liking it. Right, I decided not to stitch round there because it's still to get its pocket on the front, and we'll wait and see how this looks before we decide whether to stitch round the rest of it. So I think I am going to take this button edge off, and we'll get about the same on. That's quite cool, isn't it? We'll get the same on the other side, about there. Yep. Let's see. Oh, it covers up quite a lot of that, doesn't it? But you can still see that. You can still see it, and plus you can see it at the back. Anyway, we'll take this. Maybe we'll have second thoughts about this. Did I put you back on? Yes, I did. Talk to myself. Wouldn't be the first time. Right. I'll need to hoover all these threads. And do we think that's too big for there? I'm going to be here forever pulling threads. Yes. Was it that side? No, it's this side. Okay, let's decide. Let's stop faffing with the threads. And of course we'll have something else on this nice focal point. Maybe some buttons sewn on. Well, if I sew on a button, I won't be able to use the pocket. We'll need to stick the buttons on, because if I sewed through that, it would stop me from using that. I want it on the inside. No, I like it on the outside. Right, we need to think about a focal point, and yeah, need to think about that. So what I'm going to do then is show you my signature and explain to you what I've done for the inside, and then I think I will leave this video as a part 1, and I'll have a think about what I'm going to do with the focal point, and then yeah, and I'll come back and we'll finish off the cover, and we will start to decorate the inside, and we'll sew it in as well. If I'm feeling brave, we'll do the sewing on camera, and if I'm not feeling brave, I'll just do it on my own and explain to you what I've done. There's a million videos showing you how to sew in a signature, so I'll see how I feel. But anyway, let's think. Let me show you. So this was just brown wrapping paper. This is from a kiddies book from the charity shop, an old kiddies book, so that would have been thrown out. This is a paper bag from Krispy Kreme donuts. I've folded, it's a long thin paper bag. I've left this open, so we'll do something with that. This is from a magazine. This is from a kiddies comic that was going in the bin, a Beano. This is from an old book. Some more wrapping paper, some old music paper that would have been thrown out, a brown paper bag, an old book, another paper bag from Greg's. That's a chain of bakers and takeaways here. Magazine and a brown paper bag, and then obviously just the other side of that, of all of them. Krispy Kreme and the kiddies book and brown paper. So that's going to be the signature. I've still quite a lot of bits to add, and maybe we'll just do some painting or some stenciling, or we'll just junk it up a wee bit more than what it already is. And then we'll need to think about what I'm going to do for the closure, because I've got all these little pieces. This is from the seam of the pillowcase. I'm not sure if it will be long enough. These are the edges from the old tea towel. I could sew them together and make a closure, but we'll think about that another day as well. So this is the plan. That's the cover up to a certain point. That's the signature up to a certain point, and I'll think about what I'm going to do with this front, and we will maybe add some bits round the edge on the inside, but I think that's enough for just now. And yeah, so come back for part 2, and there might even be a part 3, who knows. We'll see how we get on in part 2. So yeah, so thanks for joining me today, and if you've enjoyed the video, a thumbs up would be great. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.